So, like what we were discussing yesterday was about the stereochemistry of SN1. In here, when we take a substrate, usually it would have an tight ion pair forming across the solvent to start with. This is also called as intimate ion pair. I can call this as the first state of separation between this substrate carbon and this bromide, which is leaving group. Now, there are two problems here. If your solvent is highly polar like water, then it will help in getting these positive and negative charges. But you know that if positive negative charges come across, they would have better attraction. So R plus and Br minus will still be existing like a tight ion pair and an intimate ion pair. But since R is getting that enough positive charge, water will start attacking from the back side. It will start attacking from the back side here, right? So during the tight ion pair phase, if any substrate is attacking, it has to attack only from the back side, because from the front side Br minus will shield that R plus or whatever the delta positive charge that is forming on carbon. Now imagine if the solvent is mixed. Basically, if at all I have maybe acetone, 80% acetone, I have 80% acetone, right? Me2CO and 20% water. If at all I have 80% acetone and 20% water in it. Now, water, acetone is not the one which will help to get enough charges on R plus and Br minus. Correct? Although, unlike water, if you check out, water will give you much better charge formation as compared to that of acetone. Nevertheless, acetone will also start, giving the dipole moment to R plus and Br minus, or increasing the polarity between R plus and Br minus. Then water will also start attacking from here. Okay, but if you observe, what 100% water, if there is only 100% water, and if there is 20% water, okay, these two are two different solvents. This is one solvent and this is the other solvent. So in case of this, in case of 100% water, the intimate ion pair will develop more amount of positive and negative charge. So water can start attacking rapidly, or rather I would say more, from the back side as compared to the second case. In second case, this R plus has not developed enough positive charge that water can attack from the back side. So what happens? In the second case, the racemization chances are more. So that means most of that water is not able to attack from here, but it will start attacking mostly at the second stage or the third stage. And you know that in second stage and third stage, in both the stages, racemization is more feasible as compared to that of inversion. So when you have more aprotic solvent and less protic solvent, then chances of racemization are more. If you have 100% uh, protic solvent and highly polar solvent, then chances of inversion are more. So here inversion takes place more as compared to that of racemization. Okay, this is what has been observed in many of the cases as long as you have high polarity of solvents. Okay, this is what we were discussing yesterday. Based on that, I gave you three important conclusions. One, more stable the cation. See, if it is more stable, then instead of spending any time on the intimate ion pair, it would rapidly move towards the solvent separated phase, which means the time spent here would be less, which increases the chances of racemization. Second, more nucleophilic the solvent, greater is its inversion. See, more nucleophilic in a sense, if the solvent is highly polar, it would have more nucleophilic nature. Okay. See, these two statements are related to one another. The third statement is completely independent. So this is slightly misleading. Yesterday somebody else was also asking me. More polarized the solvent, greater is the racemization. This is with respect to comparison of, this is comparison of two different solvents. Like, you know, if you have a completely non-polar or a highly aprotic solvent, and as you compare that with polar solvent in that case, okay. So I would suggest do not worry about this statement because this would give you multiple uh, meanings. So stick to these two statements properly. So one, more stable the cation, greater is racemization. Second, if the nucleophilic concentration or nucleophil solvent which is highly polar is more, then greater will be the percent of inversion. Okay. So based on that, we have few questions down. Then again, I will revisit back to this concept. Then we discussed about few cases of solvolysis like alcoholysis, ammonolysis, right? Then hydration, hydrolysis, got it? And started discussing about the factors which influence SN1. Out of which we saw how the rate changes for different groups here. Okay. And finally came to second part where it is showing elemental effect. Now let us start with this here. Everybody please start writing. Okay, I noticed, or rather I get to know that lot of you are not writing the notes. Okay, one thing, please make a habit of writing the notes. Okay, I would still support you with my notes, but unless you do not write, it's very difficult to, you know, memorize. So just at least for the sake of practice, keep writing. See, here elemental effect is observed in SN1. You remember elemental effect, right? Elemental effect is with respect to the leaving group bond. So the bond which is established between carbon and leaving group. So the rate will be inversely proportional to the bond strength between carbon and leaving group. So CX bond breaking, CX bond breaking is a part of rate determining step or RDS. So therefore, what I can say, if we have RF, RCl, RBr and RI, we will see the rate would vary this way. This would be the rate of SN1, which is the same for SN2 also. Here you could see, I can say here there is a 2p sigma bond formation, 2p 3p sigma bond and so on. So the bond strength is decreasing. So it is easier to break the bond if it is carbon and iodide. That's a simple logic you must know, right? I hope all of you understood what is elemental effect. So elemental effect is observed in both SN1 as well as SN2. For both of them, as much as the bond strength is weak, rate will increase. I hope all of you made a note. Come to this. In case if we take polar protic solvent, definitely it is going to favor SN1. Okay, right. So suppose if we try to make a reaction on tertiary alkyl halide, okay, if we try to make this, and if you consider the rate in H2O and if you consider the rate with 100% H2O, there is one very good question which is given in sheet day 2 that is dependent on this statement. Observe it carefully. Suppose if you have Me2CO, Me2CO here with 80% and H2O with 20%. In the first case, we have only water So definitely in both cases solvolysis is happening. In the first case, rate is more. That means rate of the reaction to follow through SN1 mechanism is more. In the second case, rate is less, but the racemization is more. Please understand that carefully. The second case, the rate is less, but racemization would be more. Okay. Hope all of you understood that. Yeah. So polar protic solvent will help that favoring SN1. Got it. Now, when I say rate, I am only considering with respect to SN1. It may so happen that here H2O might be attacking from SN2. That is an inversion also happening. Correct. See, solvolysis is about solvent breaking now. So therefore, if you have polar protic solvents like H2O, ROH and all of this, they will help for SN1 reactions. Got it? High dielectric constant always favors solvolysis. Okay. Now coming to the cases of RX which does not favor SN1. Okay. Just make a note of polar protic solvent which will show more SN1. So these are the solvents which usually show more SN1. Just write that statement. So check this out. So there are few compounds which do not show SN1, and we'll just specify small one simple one line reasons here. First one, if it is with methyl, so definitely CH3 plus unstable carbocation, so SN1 is not favored. Vinylic group, partial double bond character here, so carbocation is again unstable. Partial double bond character as well as CH2 double bond CH plus vinylic carbocation is unstable. So this will not take the root of SN1. In fact, this does not go through SN2 also. Same way here also it is the partial double bond character. Keep your notes very briefly, just write the important pointers only. And same thing here also, phenylic carbocation is unstable. Next, if you look out here, this was also not favoring SN1 for a SN2 for a different reason, but here it is the anti-aromaticity because of which it is not favored. Anti-aromaticity. Next, bridgeheads are usually not favored because it violates Brett's rule. If you remember, Brett's rule is about not forming a carbocation or a double bond, or even a sp2 transition state on the bridgehead carbons. Next, RF, here again strong sigma bond of carbon and fluorine, because of which it won't happen. Both for SN1, SN2 this reaction doesn't happen, but this one was very strongly happening for SN2, but here it is highly unstable carbocation, because a carbocation which is formed at this position will be highly unstable, as C double bond O is strongly pulling by minus I effect. So these are the cases where you will be rest assured that they do not go for SN1 reaction. So all of you made these brief points. Right. So this is an experimental data based upon this allylic position. So with respect to allylic position, if the solvolysis is done, right, with 50% aqueous ethanol, then this data was retrieved, and comparatively we are checking out what will be the rate of the rest of the groups here. Okay. So see the importance here. First thing, this one. This has very high rate. It comes with the fact that it is an allylic and tertiary stabilizing group. So that's why it is having very high rate of SN1. Okay. Next, phenylic group is more dominant, then tertiary, okay, not the regular allyl. So first this particular tertiary allylic group, then phenyl allylic group, benzyl allylic group, then we have tertiary. After that comes secondary allyl, then primary allyls, then normal secondary, primary, and so on. Okay. So if you see the increasing order for the same, bridgeheads are the worst, phenyls, then we have withdrawing groups, electron withdrawing groups, then vinyl groups, primary, secondary, regular allyl, okay, which means 1 degree allyl here, benzyl, tertiary. In case if there are any electron donating species like OR or NH2, they would show high increase in rate. Both, if in case if both are phenyl groups, if there are 3 phenyl groups, then this would be the comparison. Okay, just go through that once. Now I think I gave you this sheet yesterday. Now start writing from here. Rearrangement of carbocation in SN1. So what are the cases in SN1 where the rearrangement is an important factor, and what are the products forming? So that's the kind of questions usually be asked. See, whenever there is a carbocation forming, there is a high chance that it can undergo rearrangement. You have been doing this type of questions before also with even and even mechanism. Let's see that. Please write this now. First write this question. Suppose if this is the reactant given or substrate given and it is undergoing solvolysis with water. Then what is the first thing we'll see? Because it is under solvolysis, definitely SN1 mechanism is favored. So we will see first a carbocation is formed. From the carbocation, you can see it is at the secondary position now, and it can be moved to tertiary position with tertiary benzylic position here by making an 1,2 hydride shift. I am assuming that everybody knows how the rearrangement works. Then after 1,2 hydride shift, we will get at the tertiary position, tertiary benzylic position. Okay. Now H2O will attack rapidly. This is the fast step. This is the slow step, which is the RDS. As it attacks, so it would have OH2 plus formation, and proton is being removed out from here to make this alcohol. So third degree benzylic alcohol has been formed. Now this is a chiral center, and since the water has been attacking on the sp2 hybridized carbon, so it can attack from both the sides and it will give racemization. So we will see racemic mixture is formed. See, unless you have been specifically asked about water and compare that with 80% ethanol, 80% acetone, in those comparisons we will see water will have less amount of racemization as compared to inversion. But general cases, wherever the question is been given, just go with the regular SN1 reactions where carbocation is formed, racemization will take place, so final product will be racemic mixture. Yes, here there would be slight more net inversion happening. Okay. All of you made a note. Let's see the second question. Just focus on the reagents. Here it is at the secondary position and aqueous KOH with SN2. This reaction hardly happens, but a small amount of product will form here. Firstly, it is at secondary position. Secondly, there is a neopentyl type of a group here, correct? So there is a 4-degree carbon here. And when you have that, the ability to form by SN2 is very less. So I'm just writing the minor product here. In case if it is SN2 happening by any chance, this will be the minor product which you will get on substituting at that point. Now, if it is in the presence of water, definitely SN1 reaction is favored. First, a carbocation is formed here, and from the carbocation, we can have two routes. This carbocation can undergo rearrangement. We can see 1,2-methyl shift takes place, and from secondary it will become a tertiary carbocation. Water will start attacking the minute carbocation is formed, and you will see one product forming here, OH, this, and another product which is forming is this OH. So these are the two products which are forming here. Now these two products are just structural type. Okay, I am not discussing stereo yet. We'll go question by question. So first we'll identify how to get the structural kind, and then we'll go to the stereo kind. Out of this, the major product is this, and the minor product would be this one. So in the regular carbocations, you should always rearrange and get to the more stable carbocation, and then the nucleophile which is attacking will lead to the major product. I hope all of you made a note of that. Right. See, there are few molecules in which either SN1 or SN2 both will give same products, because there is no rearrangement happening here. It is already at the secondary position, so it do not further undergo rearrangement, so it will only get to this molecule. Finish with that. Okay, right. Next is this question. OH minus DMSO definitely goes for SN2. It is at secondary position. So if it is going for SN2, this is the product which you can get, right? But if it is with water, okay, now carbocation will form here first. So let me show that path. Carbocation will form here. This is at the secondary position, but it will make a shift to the next carbon as it can get more stable carbocation formation, which is benzylic. So from regular second degree, and this is 1,2 hydride shift to give this benzylic form. So on this benzylic form, you will have attack of H2. So this would be the major product. The minor product would be without rearrangement. Make a note. Everyone has done that. Right. Now let's see how do we compare SN1 versus E1. In case if we have SN1 and we are also expecting E1 to happen, in which cases we should favor SN1, in which cases we should favor E1. Let us see that. So the conditions required for SN1 and E1, they all are same. So let me just remind you the condition. The substrate condition, that is the nature of the substrate, should be 3 degree, 2 degree, 1 degree and so on for both of them. Okay. Nucleophilic nature or the basic nature in both the cases should be weak. That will help it. In case if you have a weak nucleophile or a weak base, it will help the SN1 or E1 reactions. Okay. Next, nature of leaving group, right? As we have already learned, RF will be less than RBr, less than Ri. So this is also a similar condition for E2 or E1 also. Okay. The only condition that is different is temperature. So in case of SN1, we already get enough solvation from the solvent, and because of the solvolysis, right, the SN1 reaction usually happens at lower temperature. Not just that, overall reaction of SN1 is exothermic. Okay, so if you see SN1 reaction, its delta H reaction is negative, while E1 reaction, all elimination reactions, you would see delta H reaction is positive. So that is endothermic. Since it is endothermic, high temperature will favor E1 reactions, low temperature favors SN1 reactions. So that is the only difference you will find between SN1 and E1. So now if you react a third degree a third degree alkyl halide here with ETOH, which is a weak base as well as a weak nucleophile, okay, and this is the ethanolysis or alcoholysis which we are doing, and the minute this heat symbol is given, so you can understand that we can get, you know, multiple products here. First I can get this kind of a product, I will get this type of a product, both are elimination products, and then I can get a substitution product OET, and these will be major. I mean the alkene would be major, substitution would be minor. Substitution is happening by SN1, this one, this alkene which is forming is by E1. Please make a note of that. And those who have done, start checking out what kind of a product you will get in this case. Right, check this now. So we'll focus mainly on the major products here. It's a tertiary alkyl halide. On reaction with ETOH, we just saw that the major product which we will get here would be alkene, that is favored by E2 mechanism. If heat is not being given, then we'll go for substitution. So OET will be formed, and that would be by SN1 mechanism. Ammonia, if you see, relatively ammonia is a strong nucleophile, right? But when it comes to base, it acts like a weak base, and it is at the tertiary position. Okay, so strong nucleophile usually they prefer to go for SN2 reactions, but since it is at a tertiary carbon, SN2 is not favored. So the only possible way which it can drive is E1. So we will get this elimination product through E1 mechanism. Next, Cn minus, I'll just mention that also here, it is a weak base, strong nucleophile. Cn minus is a strong nucleophile, so it's a strong nucleophile. It will try to favor SN2, but again SN2 chances are very grim here, so it will go for elimination, and Cn minus is a good base also, so strong base as well. So instead of going for E1 mechanism, now it will give the product by E2 mechanism. Next one, ethanoate. Right. Next reactant you can see here. This is the enolate. Enolate is resonance stabilized this way, and it is also a good base. Enolates do not, act like strong nucleophiles, but they are good bases. So that will also give E2 mechanism. That will also give alkene through E2 mechanism. Next, CH3C triple bond C1S, that is a very good nucleophile, strong nucleophile as well as a strong base. Sorry. That will also give alkene by E2 mechanism. So keep practicing on all the types of reagents. Okay. So whatever the reagents, just whenever you have free time or just having lunch or dinner, just recall few of the reagents and think about it, whether it should give SN1 or SN2, E1 or E2, and these will be the major products which you will get. Okay. Now, I hope all of you made a note of that fast. Right. Now let's come to the applications of E1. So this is the first application. Applications of E1. For this chapter, alkyl halides, because alcohols chapter, ethers, phenols will again come across E1 mechanism. In this chapter, the main application is hydrolysis. Right. So everyone, focus here now. So in hydrolysis, what we are doing, if we take a tertiary alkyl halide and make sololysis to happen, then we will get alcohols, and this is what we are expecting to be the overall reaction. Now, we will focus mainly on the stereochemistry part of it. Our objective from now onwards is to find the total number of products, including structural as well as stereo. Okay. So let us start with this question now. First one, there is a bromine at this position, secondary position. So as we treat that with H2O, according to SN1 mechanism, oh sorry, I wrote SE1, my mistake, applications of SN. So first a carbocation is formed. From carbocation we can see 1,2 methyl shift can happen, 1,2 methyl shift can happen, and I would get a carbocation at this position now. Tertiary carbocation is formed. Now while methyl is shifting, can I say the same molecule will make such a way methyl can come out of the plane, or this methyl group go inside the plane? These two, because methyl is shifting and it is shifting towards a carbocation, so any of those two methyls can shift. Alright, so when they are shifting, they can come out of the plane or go inside the plane. Same way here, if you check out, now we can say with respect to this, I can have two products. Now when the water attacks here, water can attack from the top or from the bottom. So I can have one product of OH this way and other product of OH going inside the plane. In here, if you check out, when water attacks, right, again I can have two products here. Methyl coming outside and OH going inside, and this methyl which is already present plus,
Sir, they are the same product. Na?
which one beta?
The previous one.
Previous one?
Yes, they are the same product. OH up or OH down.
No, it is at a chiral center, right? It is forming a new chiral center here. Check out, this is a chiral center, correct?
Yes.
Got that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now here you can see OH can form on this side also, and methyl going inside, and methyl already out here. And for these the products, check out, we can have same OH going inside, and this methyl is already inside. On this side you can see OH coming outside and methyl is inside. Let me just label all of them: A, B, C, D, E, F. I want all of you to check that properly. Anybody has any doubt? If you feel, sir, any structure is repeated or some structure looks similar, right? Just see and
Yes.
get back.
So,
Yes, beta.
no heat is given. Can we take even products as minor ones and count them as number of products?
Come again.
In question, if no heat is given, these products are major, but can we take even as minor products and count them in number of products?
Yes. If heat is given.
If not given,
If
can we
not
count
given, just go for the substitution kind.
So we don't take even products in counting.
No, it would be very specific in the questions that way. At least whenever, as much as J is concerned, uh, there are few questions which were asked like that, and they were very specific, all substitution kind or all elimination kind. Got it? Or in case if it comes across total stereo isomers or structural isomers, got it? And heat is mentioned specifically, then go for elimination.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Now we have A, B, C, D, E, F. You can see none of them are repeated ones. All of them are different. So we have six stereotype. If the structural are asked, how many are they? How many structural are there? So total number of products, total number of substitution products, substitution products. You will be mentioned this way, excluding stereo. This is the first statement that could be asked. Similarly, total number of substitution products, okay, including stereo. Okay, total number of enantiomeric pairs, enantiomeric pairs. Now check A, B, C, D, E, F. All of them are different stereo, different products here. But if you see overall structural kind, there are only two. Okay, because structural kind depends upon how many carbocations which are formed. This is one. This is the second one. So excluding stereo 2, including stereo total number of products 6. Now if you see AB are enantiomers of each other. AB are enantiomers of each other because that is the only chiral center which is present. It is a single chiral center. Now if you see between C, D, E, F, okay, C and D are enantiomers. C and F. C and F are enantiomers and D and E are enantiomers. All of you are able to make out that? So total there are 3 enantiomeric pairs. I guess all of you have figured that out. Make a note. We'll go to the next question. Okay. If you're done with that, try the next one. This reactant is treated with H2O and I'm asking only substitution products. I want all of you to practice. First, a carbocation is formed here. Then we know that it will go for 1,2 hydride shift. The carbocation will shift here. This H2O. can give OH here with this being chiral center. Since it is chiral center, it will have an enantiomeric pair. Here OH will be formed as you treat that with H2O. That is also a chiral center, so plus and minus form. So again, I'll keep asking the same type of question here. What are the total number of substitution products, including stereo, excluding stereo, and how many enantiomeric pairs? So you can see stereo substitution products are 2, including stereo are 4. There are 2 enantiomeric pairs. Finished, everyone? Those who have finished, check out the next one. This type of question was recently asked in 2019. I think last exam to 34, I guess, CTA 34, similar type of question was there. One of you have already asked, like, what all things to consider, which carbocation should we consider. Now try this. Check this here, and we get carbocation. Here with OH. Now this carbocation does not shift to the left side. Once you have carbocation formation, right, it will only go into that particular direction, right, where OH is where that carbocation is becoming more stable. Okay, remember that rearrangement of carbocation is more kinetically driven, so it will go only on that particular direction where its transition energy is lower. Okay, so it will not move on to that direction where maybe it may be eventually thermodynamically stable, okay, but still it will only go to that position where it has more stable transition state. So in here, the movement of this carbocation will only onto the right hand side, not onto the left hand side. Get OH plus here. Okay, so you can manage to write the products now. So we'll have OH here. So you can see this is a chiral center, so we can have plus and minus, which means it is a racemic mixture. H2O, OH. This is also plus and minus racemic mixture. If major or minor is asked, this will be major, it will be minor. Now the same questions again. You can see what will be the number of structural kind with including stereo, excluding stereo, and enantiomers. This question is same. It has two products excluding stereo, 4 products including stereo, and 2 enantiomeric pairs. All of you make a note. One, two, H shift. Those who finish, you can try the next one. Sorry. Finish with the third question, everyone. So let's try this. First we'll make carbocation. Okay. And now we can see a ring expansion will take place. It's a 5-membered ring, so it will go for 6-membered ring formation. Whenever you are making a ring formation, always go with numberings. It will make it easier. So we have 6-membered here with first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and you can see on the first carbon there is already a methyl group on it. Okay, and on the second carbon there is a carbocation forming. And this could further go for more stabilized carbocation because it is at secondary position. Now it can go to tertiary position. So here it is ring expansion and here it is 1,2 hydride shift. So on treating with H2O, we can have OH here, that is also a chiral center, so we can have racemic mixture here, H2O, then we can have OH here, correct. So when it is happening, you are actually creating 2 chiral centers here because that methyl could have been coming out of the plane or going inside the plane. So there are 2 chiral centers which you will create here with H2O here. You have only one product here, there is no chiral center there. So since there are 2 chiral centers here, so plus and minus here, plus and minus here. I shall not write plus and minus like that, I'll just keep it as number of products. So you can see there are 2 products here, there are 4 products you can get from here and 1 product here. These are all stereo kinds. So if you were to ask what are the total number of products including excluding stereo, so now we know. So how many substitution without stereo? So there are 3 products here and including stereo total 7. Total number of enantiomeric pairs. So how many do we get? 3 of them. Any doubt?
Sir,
Yes, beta.
sir, in the cyclopentane, the charge may go to the second carbon, no, sir? Means it's a
Cyclopentane.
possibility.
Cyclopentane. All right. Yeah, this will also be a minor product. Here, you said, right? Tertiary.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Sir,
Then
in previous example also in minor the other one can be formed. Like rearrangement is kinetically driven, so it will go for always more stable one. So ring expansion is better, no? So in down one also only ring expansion will be.
is it coming to the more stable carbon is what I'm checking out. Okay, I'll confirm this once again, whether this will go for ring expansion, I mean whether it would have any minor products. I'll check out experimentally and then only I'll comment on this. Okay. Just remind me in the afternoon, evening session. I'll just check with the experimental values and let you know. This all depends upon the stability of this carbocation versus the stability of this carbocation. Okay. Right. Next. All of you are done with this? Please make a note. Okay, whoever has asked, if you go as per question 3, the number of products you'll have only 7. Okay, but whether there is any kind of minor product which is coming this way or not, I'll check. Because why I'm worried about this part is the similar type of a problem comes when you have a dancing resonance, which we are going to come in some time now. So that's why I'll have a check once and then only comment on it. Right, so diazotization, yes, exactly. About that we'll discuss. Okay, check this out. Fifth one. Faster, guys. So here you can see we can have carbocation formation. So methyl, and here I'll just mention it as a carbocation here. Carbocation. There is already one group in between here. So which we have CH3H, but that will undergo rearrangement here to 1,2 hydride shift. So we will have CH2, CH3, this group phenyl and methyl carbocation. H2O. See, this is ethyl, methyl, phenyl and OH. So definitely we will have a racemic mixture forming here, and here if we take with respect to H2O, right, only on the carbon here, right, we will have change in configuration, or rather I would say we will have both possibilities, but this chiral center will be intact. So HCH3 with phenyl, H, OH and CH3, and the other product which you will get is OH, H, CH3, CH3, H and pH. These are the two products which you will get. Okay. So what are these two now? These two are pair of diastereomers. They are not enantiomers, but this is an enantiomer. So if we just pull out the same points to write here, check that what you will get. First case, number of substitutions. How many products you are getting? 2 of them, and including stereo, 4 of them. Number of enantiomeric pair, only 1. Done with that. Finished, everyone? Come to this question now. So first, a carbocation is formed here. We'll see 1,2 hydride shift happening. Okay, so carbocation will come here. ETOH, on reaction with that we will get product here OET, and you can see this is a chiral center. ETOH, if I treat here OET, that is also a chiral center. Anyone has a doubt will ask me now.
Sir,
Yes, beta.
We'll go by SN2, right?
Huh? It will go by
SN2, right? ETOH is a strong bet.
correct. It will have an SN2 product also. I am just specifying only with respect to SN1. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Which will be major? SN1 and
SN2. SN2 will be major.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Because you already have a withdrawing group here, so that will pull and increase the rate of SN2. So in all these cases also up, in fifth one also you will have SN2 product here also. Got it? But I'm only asking for SN1 kind of products. Okay. So this type would be mentioned to you. Right. Now, even if it is going for SN2 also, if the number of products been asked, then you don't have to worry about it, right? Because SN1 is anyway taking care of that position. Finished, everyone?
So enantiomeric pairs.
Not, oh, sorry. Let us write this. So 2, 4 and 2. Faster, guys. Time is running off so fast. I had to cover a little bit more. Are you done? Guys, I might need an hour today in the evening, 5:30 to 6:30. Today is Thursday, right? Let me check. Today is Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah, today is Thursday. So I might take an hour of class in the evening. I want to finish that NGP today itself, because tomorrow we can do a lot of problems. Okay. So I think Janardhan sir might take a 3-hour session today, I guess. After that I will take. I'll send you the timing. Finished. Come to this. Now, which of the cases we usually go for SN1 other than solvolysis? We know that solvolysis is a case where SN1 is favored, but other than that, are there any cases where we will see SN1 is favored? Let's check that. In the second case, you can see alkyl halides. If you treat that with Lewis acid like Ag+, it can undergo precipitation, so it will definitely form carbocation. Okay. Now you can see as an example, if you have a secondary alcohol and you treat that with moist Ag2O, okay. See, moist Ag2O will have a less concentration of OH minus. Think this way, moist Ag2O is nothing but Ag2O, which is 2Ag plus O2 minus, and if you have a moisture, we can generate OH minus ions. So moist Ag2O is nothing but there is a presence of, oh, here it is Br, sorry. Yeah. So here there is a presence of OH minus ions, right? If the concentration of OH minus ions is more, right? In this case, suppose if the question is given as NaOH, then it will definitely go for SN2. But if it is given as moist Ag2O, then one thing, it is helping with precipitation. Second thing, the concentration of OH minus is not too high to drive it as SN2. Okay. So therefore a carbocation is formed and then the reaction will take place. And since if you have moisture, we can have both H2O and OH minus competing. Depending upon which is more concentration, usually water will be in high concentration amount and that would be more. So you can see water will attack, or any amount of OH minus which is present, that might also attack, but eventually you will get the same product, so it doesn't matter. So carbocation is something which is formed during formation of AgBr. So that is what you need to remember. Okay. So wherever we have this kind of cases, you can always make sure a carbocation is being made, go for the rearrangement, and you can see there are multiple products coming. Okay. And this would be purely data based, so we can't specifically go question by question, because based upon the perfect data of how much water you have taken, how much OH minus has been taken, then only we can comment on the major or minor products. But just that if a statement is given like whether it can go for SN1 or not, yes, it can go for SN1 reactions here. Okay. Second case is a normal case where you have strong nucleophiles, OH minus, F minus, sufficient concentration is given, they will all go for SN2 reactions. Okay. Now this third case is an important case, what we call it as diazotization. So in diazotization, we will take first a primary amine. Okay, I would suggest first make a note of this case too, everyone. Topic is, when does SN1 reaction take place? And just take case 2. Now let us come to this case, diazotization. If you have a primary amine and we react that with HNO2, which is nitrous acid, we would get diazonium ion. This is diazonium ion. Diazonium ion. I'm not writing ion or a salt, depending upon whether let me show that. Yeah, If it is plus only given, it is ion. If it is given with Cl minus like this, that means it is disonium salt. So we will get disonium ion. Disonium ion in alkyl are highly unstable. If it is an alkyl disonium ion, it is highly unstable. Immediately it will release out N2 as a gas, and then R would become a carbocation. Once it becomes a carbocation, water would attack that and you will get alcohols as major products. Okay. I will give you the mechanism now. Just try to understand the overall reaction first. And these are two cases which are experimentally identified. So only focus on the type of products which you are getting, and these products can be you can get these products based upon the carbocation what it is forming. First make a note. Right, come to this now. First I will give the general mechanism. See, if we take NaNO2 salt and add it to dilute HCl. Okay, so in the test tube, so I am taking HCl and I am adding NaNO2 crystals. As soon as we add, it would prepare HNO2 aqueous and NaCl. You will have sufficient amount of dilute HCl here, or rather I can say excess amount of dilute HCl, and you add a little bit of NaNO2 to prepare HNO2. In HNO2, as long as we have sufficient amount of HCl here, this is the structure of HNO2. In acidic medium, HNO2 will dissociate into this form and double bond O plus. Okay, and you can see that an electrophile N double bond O plus is available. N double bond O plus is resonance stabilized with the lone pair present on oxygen to give N triple bond O plus. Okay. Right. So this is what happens initially. Most of see, HNO2 naturally is always unstable acid. It will disproportionate into nitric acid, NO, right? You may have come across that in group 15. So what we do, we'll only prepare at the time of reactant when you are adding. Okay, so it is made in situ, and once you get this electrophile generated, now after adding that we will have RNH2, which is primary amine. Primary amine will identify that there is a nucleophile present in the solution and will attack on that. So we will get R N H and double bond O with positive charge. Got it? And since it is in an acidic medium, nitrogen will take away its electron, So we'll get this as R N lone pair H N double bond O. So once you have here, you can see it can undergo tautomerization, and we'll have N double bond N and OH. Alright, this is nitroso-oxime tautomerization. So that hydride has shifted onto oxygen. So you will have this equilibrium mixture now. Now as we get here, got it? In the presence of acidic medium, the lone pair will accept this H plus to get R N double bond N OH2 plus. OH2 plus is a better leaving group, so the lone pair on oxygen will support here and H2O will leave. See, internal attacks will always favor for removal of leaving groups. So H2O will come out of this. So what we had formation is diazonium ion. Okay. Usually for alkyls it is highly unstable. Okay, if Rn2 plus, if R is alkyl, it is unstable. But if R is aryl between 0 to 5 degrees, it is stable and can be isolated. And that's why with benzene you can make it as benzene diazonium chloride salt. So you can isolate that out and make it as salt, benzene diazonium chloride salt. But in the case of alkyl, now our focus is mostly on alkyl groups. So in the case of alkyl, even with the methyl carbon also, because N2 bond dissociation energy is so strong, even with methyl carbocation formation also N2 will come out. So it is highly unstable with any R group here. Okay. So which means R could be methyl also, it could be 1 degree also, 2 degree also, 3 degree definitely. So any of this R group, you will see this would happen. Okay. So I guess all of you understood that. Any doubt here? Right. So that's how the diazonium salt is formed. Yes, beta.
Sir, in first step, that lone pair is attacking on nitrogen. In acidic medium, it will be RNH3 plus.
Where?
Means they here RNH2. Their nitrogen attacks on this nitrogen of NO.
Okay. See, that's why I told you the setup of the experiment, how it is to be done. First HCl, next NaNO2. You prepare sufficient amount of NO in the solution. Then you add drop by drop of primary amine. Okay. Then only you will see this reaction takes place. Otherwise, this will immediately react with HCl and it will become ammonium salt. Okay. And this concentration of HCl has to be controlled as well. You can't add high concentration of HCl. Okay. For aniline, right? For aniline, it would still be processed even with concentrated HCl. So if you see it in books, concentrated HCl is also taken in case of aniline, because aniline is very poor base. Got it? So that reaction doesn't happen that quickly with acids. Okay. Right. Shall we go ahead, everyone? Yeah. Please make a note. Right, now see what all things are present in the solution, guys. Suppose if this R is, suppose if you have R here, see in the solution what all things we have. In the solution we have some amount of Cl minus. Okay, we can have some amount of NO2 minus, because there would be small dissociation of HNO2 as well. So there would be H2O present, because it is a dilute solution. So there are multiple products, traces of multiple products are observed, but the major concentration is about H2O here, because dilute HCl has been taken. So water is in large amount. So that's why it's kind of a solvolysis reaction which takes place. Water will attack the most, and the major products will always be alcohols. Okay, major products, rest all will be minor. Even if you have RCl formation, again with H2O, it will become ROH. Even if you have RNO2 formation, again because we have sufficient water, it will become ROH. So most of the time you would see rest all will be in small traces, but major component would be about alcohols only. Okay, so that's why if you just go back to the reaction above, here check it out, this NH2 when reaction done with HNO2, the final product has been alcohols. Here what is the carbocation that has been formed? If you check out that, this is cyclopropyl methyl amine on treatment with HNO2. See, if it is written only HNO2, it does not mean it is, a pure HNO2 something like that. It is only prepared during the type of solution. So HNO2 itself means it is a mixture of NaNO2 and dilute HCl. Okay. So we would have here first a carbocation formation. So this is the CPM carbocation. It will showcase dancing resonance and it is stable. At the same time, it can have ring expansion to avoid ring strain here. At the same time, it can show sigma resonance by making a double bond here with positive. So these are the carbocations which they can form. Okay. Out of these three, more stable carbocation is this one. So that would have more percentage as compared to the other two. Now here this is very debatable between these two. The difference in the percentage is very less, although this might be more stable. That comes with the fact that the ring strain is being reduced a lot when it comes to cyclopropyl group. So that's why there is quite an amount of cyclopropyl alcohol also been observed. Okay. For this has been there in NCERT directly with the values. Okay, with the values 48, 47, 5%. So it's better you remember this, how with respect to the values also it would be important. Everyone, are you done with this?
Sir,
Yes, beta.
if for this question they ask what is the major product?
Write cyclopropyl methyl alcohol.
Okay.
Because this was once asked in a NEET exam, okay, and we can't go. We can only take these references, right? So it was once conducted, and there it was taken as major product.
Okay.
Finished, everyone? Okay. Just go through the reading of this. I'm just keeping you with the notes here, right? Whenever you are solving the questions of SN1, SN2, this would be the quick synopsis. What all things happening in SN1, what all things are happening in SN2, right? First comparison of rate, molecularity, number of steps involved, which type of solvent, which are the favorable solvents, carbocation formation or not, which types of nucleophiles which are using. Finally, how does the graph showcase? You can see graph here, it shows that as you go towards the tertiary carbocation formation, there is a high spike towards SN1. But as you go towards the methyl carbocation, methyl halides, SN2 is more favored. Got it? If you have secondary, it will have a mixture of these two. Got it? If you have a secondary carbocation, how do we write the general rate? Check it out. General rate of the reaction is written as some K1 into Rx, K1 into Rx into nucleophile plus K2 into Rx. This is the nucleophile. This is the general rate. Now, depending upon what type of an Rx it is, any of that mechanism will be dominant. If it is secondary, both would be present. SN1, SN2 will be present.